top 10 things that I expect a Biden administration will do to make it easier for people to eliminate debt. The election's over and Inauguration Day is finally here. Trump's out, Biden's in, the Democrats are going to control Congress. The question is, what does this mean for the average American who's more concerned with having a roof over their head, putting bread on their table, and paying their bills than the partisanship and bickering that's going on in Washington? I'm attorney Stuart Sandweiss, director of the Legal Education Center, and that's why I put together a list of the top 10 things that I expect a Biden administration will do to make it easier for people to eliminate debt. I based my predictions on a bill that was presented in the last Congress by Senators Elizabeth Warren and Jerry Nadler. Now, the bill didn't go anywhere. It's called the Consumer Bankruptcy Reform Act of 2020, now 2021. But I expect that with the change in the government, the bill will find some traction and will be passed in some form or another. That's why I put together the top 10 things that you can take out of this proposed bill, things that may affect you, the consumer, in the coming months. Now, the first few items are what I call procedural items. These are things that don't have a lot of substance, but they are important. First of all, is the elimination of what's now known as a Chapter 7 discharge and a Chapter 13 repayment plan. They're going to combine them and make what's known as a Chapter 10, which covers both of these areas. The second important change is a waiver of the filing fees. Right now, it costs $338 to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and if somebody's within 150% of the poverty level, the new code will allow a waiver of that fee. The third important change is elimination of what we know as the pre-bankruptcy counseling requirement, where right now people who want to file bankruptcy have to spend $20 or $30 taking a course online or via telephone, getting them ready to file bankruptcy. The fourth change concerns 341 meeting of creditors. That's when people who file bankruptcy have to get together with the bankruptcy trustee who asks them questions about their finances. Normally, these meetings are held in a room in the courthouse. Since COVID, they've been held remotely. Under the new proposed law, all of the meetings will be held remotely at times that will allow the debtor not to have to miss work. The next two provisions concern housing. Right now, a debtor who is a renter, a tenant, who files bankruptcy is going to have to move out, or they're going to have to pay all of their back rent. Under the new proposal, a debtor or a tenant can waive up to 6 months of rent if they file bankruptcy. Good for tenants, bad for landlords. The sixth proposal concerns mortgages, especially underwater mortgages where a person owes a lot more than their house is worth. Under the current bankruptcy law, you can't change that. You can't reduce a mortgage just because your house doesn't have the value anymore. Under the new proposal, you'd be able to write down the value of a mortgage loan to the amount of the actual value of the house. And it will also allow people who are behind to have up to 120 days to cure a default in a repayment plan before a lender can take action and try and foreclose on the house. The seventh proposal concerns student loan debt, which has been in the news a lot lately. There are proposals to waive $10,000, $50,000 of student debt for everybody. Under the new proposed bankruptcy law, the student loan debt, which is now not dischargeable except under very limited circumstances, would become dischargeable just like any unsecured debt, such as a credit card debt or a medical bill. The next two proposals, number 8 and 9, concern the timing of a discharge. Under the current law, a person who's getting a Chapter 7 discharge has to wait 60 days from their meeting of creditors before they get their discharge. Under the new law, that discharge would come automatically right away unless the debtor had some type of significant assets. The ninth change concerns what are now known as Chapter 13 repayment cases. Under the new proposal, in a repayment case, as soon as a repayment plan is approved, a debtor would get a discharge. This would avoid them having to wait 3 or 5 years before they can start rebuilding their credit and getting their finances back on track. The last proposed change concerns the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Now, right now, if a debt collector attempts to collect on what we call a stale debt, a debt that's past the statute of limitation, while it's illegal, there's really no court recourse for a consumer who's in that situation. Under the new proposed law, a consumer would be able to sue a debt collector who tries to collect on a stale debt. This has caused many people to have to wind up paying stale debts or to revive the stale debts by paying on amounts and reviving the statute of limitations. It's also been a problem in Chapter 13 cases where debtors have to object to claims by creditors for stale debts. Under the new proposed law, the debtors would be able to sue the creditors if they violate the statute of limitations. Now, I hope that this list gives you some insight as to what we can expect in the coming months. While obviously none of it is for sure until Congress meets and votes on it and it's signed by the president, I think that some or all of these provisions will become law. If you'd like to download a list of these changes, if you'd like to get our free guide on how to eliminate debt, get a 720 credit score, and save thousands of dollars without losing your property, please click on the link below. You can also join our Ditch Your Debt Facebook group. And I hope that you will subscribe to our channel for more updates on debt and financial matters. If you got any questions, please feel free to call me or shoot me an email, and I'll be glad to get back to you.